leadership, scholarships, and my favorite, global initiatives through outreach, learning, and teaching. I'm also the owner of Ambitious Girl Avenue, which is a business and coaching consultant for women. We specialize in nonprofit development. I've spoke in Africa, Jamaica, Paris, most recently London. But before all of that, there's a before my better story that I love to share. As a little girl, I dealt with insecurities, I dealt with fitting in, I dealt with feeling like I wasn't enough, I dealt with low self-esteem, I dealt with comparing myself to other girls all the time because I didn't have my dad in my life. I didn't meet my dad until I was 14. So I always felt like there was a portion of me that I didn't even know. There was a portion of my identity that I didn't have. And because of that, I developed an imposter syndrome. I would tell myself, you can't do this, you can't do that. But my mom would always instill in me the importance of loving myself first. So I began to grow to a place where I thought a lot of myself. You know, I thought that I was better than, not anybody else, but better than the limiting beliefs that I had before. And so because of that, I found this newfound sense of confidence. And I would just walk around with my head held high. And because of that, other girls didn't take to that, you know. They thought that I thought I was better than them, and so that brought on bullying and other conflicts. And even at a young age, I always felt like girls are supposed to grow together. There's supposed to be a sistership that we're supposed to experience. Part of that stemmed from my being the only girl, oldest of 2 brothers, and wanting that sistership. And so when I was 15 years old, I got my first so-called boyfriend. I was head over heels over him. Y'all, he was so fine. He was on the basketball team. He was tall. My mom approved after so many years of not even be able to talk to boys on the phone. I thought I was the last girl to get that privilege. But when I got with this boy, he made me feel like I was the prettiest, most important girl in the world. What I didn't realize was that he was controlling. And he was a grade older than me, but he was unfortunately 2 years older than me. And so when I graduated college, I was very ambitious. I knew that I wanted to go to Spelman. I knew that I wanted to study accounting. And he told me, when I graduate, I'm gonna wait for you to graduate so that we can go to college together. And I thought that was so sweet. But that wasn't the case. He didn't have ambition. He didn't have a plan. He was just trying to buy time. And so he made me think that he was waiting on me so that we could experience this journey together, when his plan was to try to tear me down. Because he saw my ambition, he saw my enthusiasm, he saw my excitement. And so he would try to tell me, nobody else is gonna believe in you. Nobody else is gonna like you like I do. Just so I would go off to college and change my plans, but I didn't. Now, unfortunately, that relationship turned into an abusive relationship at a young age that I tried to hide from my mom and my family because I felt like I can change him. I can make him a better person. I can love him enough to where he won't treat me like this anymore. That's not what happened. Ultimately, that ended in, of course, my ending the relationship, but unfortunately, my being attacked by him one last time and having to go to the emergency room and having to go and have my pictures taken at the police station as part of the police report. At that point, I had grown from this bright, ambitious young lady to this insecure young woman that kind of stayed away from the crowd, didn't want to let too many people in because of what I had done. But the day that I left the courtroom, when the judge granted that no contact order, I felt like my power was back. And I just felt this need and this burning desire to want to help other girls. Not necessarily in a public setting or in a nonprofit organization, because I didn't really know anything about that. I just wanted to help girls in passing in my hometown, you know, talk to them in the park when I saw them, lift them up. Because in my mind, there's another little girl that's going through this. I want to be able to help her through it. And so through that, there were so many girls that attracted themselves to me, and I began to start Girl Talk in my apartment here in Little Rock. And I just had 4 or 5 girls that would come over after school. I would take them to the library because I was in college myself. I was in my last year. And some of these girls were telling me, I've never been on a college campus. Y'all have a library? Y'all have this? I want to see what it looks like. And so I began to take them with me, and I realized this was kind of like a whole other world for them. So I kept saying, when I graduate college, I'm going to do something more for girls. I'm going to do something in my hometown. As I said, I'm from Fort City, Arkansas, and I noticed that there was an increase in girls that were fighting each other. There was an increase in girls that were getting pregnant in high school. There was an increase in girls that were dropping out of school, and I kept saying, I'm gonna do something. And of course, by now, graduated college, I'm in grad school, I have a family of my own, I got married, I had a son, and of course I was talking the talk. And one day at a Fort City High School homecoming game, there were a couple of girls that walked past us, and my brother is 4 years younger than me. And maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it seemed like every fourth girl that walked past us was pregnant. And my brother kind of joked and said, whatever you were talking about doing, it's too late. It was like a light bulb came on. And I said, no, it's not too late, the time is now. Now this was in 2009. I laugh when I tell this story because I remember sitting at my desk, getting the yellow book out, looking up numbers to Wynn High School, Earl High School, Marietta High School, just surrounding areas, so that I could introduce myself and let them know that I was having a girl talk. You know, this wasn't a formal event. I just wanted to do something to inspire the young ladies. And that's what I called a girl talk. And I remember picking up the phone and saying, hello, my name is Kissy Bertil, and on January 31st, 2009, I'm hosting a girl talk, and I want to invite the girls. So I was reaching out to churches, Girl Scouts, schools, and I thought to myself, you know, maybe 15, 20, 30 girls will show up. My best friend came inside that day and she said, Bestie, there are school buses pulled up. And I'm like, what? Now mind you, what I didn't tell you all was that at that time, I was still shy. I had the passion, but I didn't have that bold confidence to match against. I'm like, what am I gonna do with all these girls? There were 60 plus girls that showed up throughout Eastern Arkansas for this girl talk. And so I had 3 things that I wanted to talk to them about. Be safe, be smart, be responsible. The importance of education, the awareness and prevention of teen pregnancy, and of course, loving and respecting yourself and others. And I thought to myself, okay, this is it. I've done the good deed. I can walk away and go live my life. And at the end of that event, they were asking, when's the next one? I remember about that. But I immediately got on it and did it again. And so that turned into a conference. Well, by the second year, they're saying, don't you live in Little Rock? We want to get away from here. It's boring. Why don't you do one in Little Rock? I said, okay, that'll be easier. What I didn't realize was that Little Rock wasn't like Fort City. In Fort City, we can rent the Civic Center for $75 all day. You know, churches and family members can donate food. And it was a free event because I wasn't charging for it. But of course, here in Little Rock, I had to have a bigger business because now I was opening it for girls in Central Arkansas as well. So I remember reserving the hotel, which is now the 4 Points by Sheridan, and I incurred all these costs. Now I'm an accounting major, so I was really good about budgeting. I knew I need to save X amount of dollars for 10 months to put this event on. But I also thought to myself, okay, I want to give them more. I want to offer more. And I thought, I can go ask businesses to sponsor a great event. And then they asked me, like, oh, what's the organization? I'm like, no, what's that? I'll figure that out later. In the meantime, the show must go on. And so I do this girl talk, and by this time, I'm looking at the girls in the room, and I have a panel of ladies that spoke, and I'm seeing the expressions on their face. I needed that. Oh my gosh, she went through that too. She understands it. I'm the girl she's talking about. And so there was always this ambitious person inside of me just ready to jump out. And I got myself on that microphone and I announced that September we were starting a mentoring program. Now the shy side of me is like, girl, what are you doing? You don't know anything about starting a mentoring program. But the boldness in me is like, we'll figure it out. I've already put it out there, you have to do it. So by now, you know, I'm operating under Girl Talk. And when I'm telling people about it, they're telling, oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. And I'm having to explain to them, no, not the radio station. No, not the magazine. No, not that organization. And I thought there has to be a name for us. And so when I got ready to do something else in Fort City, my mom reserved the room for me and she said, I put it under ABH Projects. And I said, what is ABH Projects? She said, your name. At the time, my name was Kissy Bertil. So I thought, okay, that's it. That's the name. I can move forward with the nonprofit organization paperwork and that's it. But it still felt like, that's not it. ABH Projects doesn't sound like an organization catering to girls. And of course, I was always ambitious. And I'm still operating out of pocket, you know, saving as much money as I can to do this. And I was working at Arkansas Baptist College. I got laid off for the summer. husband at the time was a truck driver. His truck broke down. We had so many things going on. So realistically, I could not afford to do this conference. But the ambitiousness in me said the show is still gonna go on. So I'm up late planning this conference like I don't have a care in the world. And by now it's 2013, and I laughed. And I said, girl, what are you doing? You got your own problems, but you're still trying to plan this conference. And I just laughed it off. And I said, that's just Ambitious McKissy taking over. That's what she does. And it hit me. That's the name, Ambitious Girls Inc. Because all girls are ambitious and every girl's an ambitious girl. I'm not the only ambitious one. If you think about when you were growing up, I always say, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you dream of cooking? Did you dream of teaching? Did you dream of dance? And I guarantee a portion of what you dreamed about is still in your heart, whether you're doing it every day or not. For me, it was teaching. If my brother was telling the story, he would tell you that he listened to me more than he listened to his teachers at school. But I would teach to my teddy bears, my dolls, my cousins. I was the little girl after school at the end of the year asking the teachers if they had any materials that they didn't need anymore so that I could take it home and teach my class. And so when I realized that Ambitious Girls was not just a passion or something that I like to do, but it was a purpose, I began to realize the pink thread. So that is when the Ambitious Girl Avenue came, the Ambitious Girl Academy came, the Ambitious Girls Ambassadors Program came. Because by now we have girls that are graduating, they're contacting and saying, I'm too old for the conference, but I want to help. And after 2 years of young ladies consistently coming back, we formed the Ambitious Girls Ambassador Program. And my charge here to you all is to look at yourself, because we all are pieces of the puzzle that make up the better picture. Maybe you don't have an organization of your own. Maybe you're not a part of an organization. You don't have to be a mentor, because mentoring is not one size fits all. But we all have skills, we all have experiences, we all have expertise that can help the next young lady grow through, up, on, and forward. I always say there's an art to mentoring girls, and that art is made up of authenticity, relatability, and transparency. Through my years of working with girls, I've realized that they don't expect you to show up as a perfect person. Sometimes we put too much on ourselves, thinking that we have to show up a certain way, when all they need is for us to be us. There's a girl out there, girls out there, that fit the mentorship that you can provide. And while I would love for you all to join Ambitious Girls, there are several ways. Big Brother, Big Sister, local Boys and Girls Club, local schools, or just taking a hand and lifting up another young lady that lives down the street or across the street. You have something that they need. And so I have a model that we share with our girls, and it's Ambitious Girl Magic. And Ambitious Girl Magic has an acronym, and it stands for being motivated and growing in courage. It used to be confidence, but we recently changed it to courage, because we all have courage. Every day that we wake up, there is something that we're growing through. And the past days that we've grown up from, there was something that we grew through that gave us the courage to continue growing forward. We all have that. And if you don't take away anything else, just know that the little girl in you, she's still there. Think about what she needed and be the woman that you needed as a little girl or young lady. Now, I can stand up here all day and talk about Ambitious Girls and the young ladies that we serve and some of my experiences. And I'm sure that if we went through the room, we would probably be here all month just sharing experiences and things that we can relate to. But I want to call up a few ladies. The teacher in me doesn't mind picking, but I would love to have, 4 volunteers to come up.
All right. Come on, volunteers. Volunteerism is great.
Okay, I can actually still use you.
She can actually still use.
You ladies will pick a balloon and blow it up. It doesn't matter what size you blow it up to. Whatever size you're comfortable, however big, however small. If you need help tying them, I can help you out. And
I did. Oh, yes, I got that. Copies for everyone. I like that.
Okay. Christy. Yes. Christy, I need for you to ask each beautiful women a question. But it has to be a question that they can answer with one word. And each question has to be one. Any question that you want to ask.
And that's one word.
One word.
One word answer. Do you got kids?
Yes. Now, what's another question? Can't use the same answer that somebody else.
What color are your shoes? Brown. Good job.
I love this.
Do you enjoy working at Central Arkansas Water?